Are you an entrepreneur?
Do you desire to take your business to greater heights?
Watch out for a unique and educative discourse
that will transform the lot of your business.
As LeapWorld Limited,
a business development support firm,
and Plus TV Africa celebrate
the 2019 United Nations Micro, Small and Medium Scale Entrepreneurs Day.
The program will feature business and commerce, human resource management, health for business, access to finance, loans and grants, and business regulatory issues.
Don't miss it.
In this segment, we'll be speaking on finance. Some would say that finance is the petrol that powers a business. How true is this? To help us explore and understand the vital role finance plays in MSMEs is an elite panel consisting of Mr. Jide Majiagbe of Smedan, Mr. Osai Gbovo Omoregbe of Fidelity, and Funke Medun of LeapWorld Africa. All right, thank you very much for joining me. But then before we begin, let's take a quick look at this information. All right, thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. Let's speak a bit about finance, right? Some analysts have said that the federal government have come up with alternative borrowing initiatives for MSMEs in such that they are able to, those that do not want to go to lending institutions like banks, for example, to get loans on high interest rates, for example, right? Do you think this is true? Let's start with you.
Absolutely true, but the bit I just want to sort of shed some light on is the bit around the fact that, yes, government from time to time, through the central bank, through, for instance, the Bank of Industry, through even the newly established Development Bank of Nigeria, endeavors to ensure that the financing question is answered through, better access platforms and even, better pricing situations. Mm-hmm. But what is clear is that for you to reach that critical mass, you still need the lending institutions like the commercial banks in this case. So in a sense, what then happens is these funds are created, mm-hmm. and then a set of guidelines are rolled out to drive them, mm-hmm. and then the commercial banks or deposit money banks clearly still serve as vehicles to ultimately, playing within the ambit of those guidelines that have been rolled out to guide those funds, still serve as vehicles to transmit these funds, to eligible MSMEs. Mm. So, yes, a lot is happening with respect to rolling out, funding windows that are as friendly as possible for MSMEs. But what is also very clear is that the commercial banks are part and parcel of that whole story, because we already have the tested platforms for lending, the distribution infrastructure and all of that. Mm-hmm. And we play that role of ensuring that the ultimate MSME on the street, gets that money that has been, set aside by government and other agencies that are clearly, interested in developing SMEs.
Okay,
yes.
Let's get to you, Mr. Jide. What's your thoughts on this?
Let me be very frank. The government is doing a lot.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot. But the bottom line is information dissemination. Nigeria is a very big country. We still have a lot of things that we can do better, but we're getting there. Let me give you an instance for Smedan. We don't give money, but we facilitate, we link to finance. Some programs, special programs that we do for the MSMEs, which we have done in Oyo State, we did in Bauchi, we did in Sokoto, and we did in Lagos. It's called Conditional Grant Scheme, where we give the micro businesses 50,000 naira credit, not a loan, but a grant to assist in their businesses. Like in Lagos, we gave 90 people from each local government in Lagos State, that 50,000. The funds have not yet been disbursed, which is the process. They'll be giving their money in each of the local governments for them to assist to make their business better. That is what we were doing. But the government, you can see, is a very SME-friendly government. And like I said, there's still a lot we can do. Take, for instance, the CBN loan, which many people still don't even know about now because they don't know how to really go about it. Remember I said information dissemination is a problem. It's at 5%. It's for you to utilize it. You must be trained, have it through an institution that will, through the certificate, with everything, registered, accredited training, MSME training, something like EDI, SMEDAN, etc. And for that, you process your application. But the thing is that how many people really know the avenues? How many people really know the opportunities available? Just like in SMEDAN, in each of our states in the Federation, we collaborate with the state governments. There's nothing we do that the state governments are not involved. We have a beautiful relationship with the Lagos state government, the ministry, the Lagos State Trust Fund, which they give funds. And it's not difficult
to access.
It's not difficult to access. But people always look at it that, is it political?
It's a very cumbersome process.
It's government, whether it's state or whether it's federal. What is it? It's government. It's this, it's this. They want to know whether they will increase our tax or etc., etc. Just like the UN program. Many people thought it was a hoax. To UN 1, UN 2. In fact, there was a particular UN just for women. Women still, as I'm talking to you now, when I do my training session, if I ask people, did you know about UN? People still tell me they never heard about UN. And UN had 1, 2, 3 editions.
People are quick to believe that these things are scams or they are politically, motivated.
So right like today is MSME Day. In our head office in Abuja and all our offices outside, our staff are out, spreading the message. No matter how it is, we always say one thing, think big. Start small, but start now. Don't let finance be the barrier. Have that thought that you can succeed. Have that feeling that you will succeed, and you're halfway there. All
right, we'll take a quick break now to watch a quick video, but then when we come back, we'll talk about financial records, which seems to be a very big challenge. All right, let's just take a quick listen to the video.
My name is Bruno Oekina. I'm the CIO, Chief Inspiration Officer of Bruno's Place Unisex Salon. Bruno's Place is located at the busiest mall in Nigeria, and that is the Ikeja City Mall, Lagos. And we also have one in the busiest mall and the biggest mall in Abuja, Jabi Lake Mall. And we've been able to employ over 100 staff. Now we have built a prototype, which can be replicated in the 36 states in this country. But the major challenge that I have is that getting funds, huge funds, to carry out this project is a bit tough, because getting funds from, banks or from investor in this country, a lot has to do with who you know, and it's very political. And at the same time, if the investors do not key in with the purpose, behind your business, it can be pretty difficult. I want to know whether UN has a window, to support this kind of business that can give employment or empower people. You can imagine with 2 branches, which I have done for a period of 5 years now, about 6 years to be precise, we've been able to employ 100 staff, 100 stylists. Just imagine we're in 36 states in this country, we could employ more. So I want to find out if there is opportunity, for. I also believe there are a lot of businesses out there in this country who have been able to develop a prototype which can be replicated. So I want to find out whether there is a window or an opportunity for such a business like this. Thank you.
I'm sure you heard that. It's still along the line of what we've been talking about, loan accessibility. But we have often heard analysts, we've heard some institutions say that they are scared to give some of these MSMEs loans because some of them don't even have the expected financial records, right? But are you seeing any improvement in this regard?
Yes, things are improving. Awareness is deepening. But if you look at those MSMEs or entrepreneurs who are at the level where they now know a lot more what to do and how to better run their businesses versus the portion of the MSME, segment that still needs to know there is a lacuna. I mean, by Smedan's, statistics, we have close to 40 million MSMEs in Nigeria. So, for instance, if you are not having a coverage level, either from a financial access point of view or from the point of view of these guys having the necessary capacities to be able to get more position for funding, say to the tune of, to the level of, say, a 20%, 30%, you're still going to have a situation where whatever has happened may just be like a drop in the ocean. So to that extent, for us, for instance, what we've sought to do as an institution, Fidelity Bank, is that long ago we recognized that funding is possibly the last mile problem. The bigger issues are issues of capacity. The man has set out to run a business. Should he even be in that business in the first place? Were the necessary diagnostics done to, certify that the business area that he's decided to go into, judging from his educational qualification, his previous experiences, is that the area he should be in? In fact, that business area that we're even saying he should be into, is it viable versus all of the other macroeconomic indices and market realities that we find? Now, if you even have that, you get to that point where you think that he's gone into the right thing, the next thing is, does he have the structures to run that business sustainably? Does he have a financial reporting, a bookkeeping and financial reporting process in place, however basic it is? Yes. Is there like has the business been set up properly to understand that you ought to have a human resources function, for instance, a customer care function, a focused business development function, and all of that, and then ultimately, are we dealing with a business that if you are unable to reach the man, the entrepreneur, the main promoter on phone today, you still have a business place to go to where you can meet all of the other subsidiary officers who will give a face to the business? Now, what then happens in such situations, even where those realizations are on the table, is, I need to go employ some chartered accountant somewhere to pay him 300,000 or 400,000 or 500,000, as the case may be, to keep my books. I need to get some big exotic application to run my books for me on the accounting side and my human development function and all of my enterprise resource management functions. The answer is no. So one of the things we've also done is to as much as possible recognize that helping these people build capacity is a major way to go to now enabling them become more eligible for financing. And what we've then done is to say, hey, cost is a major issue for the average small business, no thanks to the fact that there are several basic things it's also grappling with. So we've gone into alliances with entities and organizations that run shared services platforms, in which case an MSME needs to have a bookkeeping process in place. He doesn't need to go and employ an accountant. All he possibly needs to do is to get linked up to an accounting firm that already has a structure that enables itself multiple MSMEs at the same time. And then that MSME just then pays a token at the end of, say, every month.
The entire platform
absolutely.
Itself.
And so perhaps for, say, a 15 or 20 or 25,000, the man gets professional accounting services support.
Okay, so let's just head quickly to Funke.
Okay.
What is being done to ensure that finance and understanding go hand in hand, so that these monies that we are leaving in the hands of these MSMEs come back as, profit generating schemes, and not, such that you are wasting or some points where they're not utilizing the money effectively?
Okay, so talking about access to funding and linking it to the question you've asked.
Yes.
The people that want to give you money wants to be sure that their monies will come back.
Of course.
Okay? And there are different ways of assessing finance. So people should also understand the stages of their business and the kind of funding they would need.
Exactly, the question I was going to ask as well.
You can start from friends and family if your business is. So some people want to start and they think investors will just come running, no track record. It may not be easy. You can do trade finance. You can buy and enjoy free, interest-free access to money. You can can go to developmental banks. So we're a BDSP, Business Development Support Service Provider for Bank of Industry, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, and we work also with some commercial banks. So from experience, don't go for expensive loans at some stage of your business. Even the commercial banks have, like he said, SMID and CBN has some intervention funds that people can get. So once the information is there, now capacity building and knowledge. So let's take it back. So I say I'm a firm believer of business plan. And I say it again, that business plan is not until you write 1 million pages of a plan. Finance in the minimum, your records. Profits. So let's go back to the way they were calling it. Let's leave the new name. Profits. How much do I want to sell? What will it cost me to produce that? That's my gross margin. So what next? Do I need to pay salaries and all that? So look at it. Is it really profitable? So if you look at it, once you've answered that question, how do I make sure that the money is not just sitting in profit? The cash is king. It's like oxygen to your business. Even if you have profit on paper and the cash is not coming, you will not be attractive. What are the banks looking for? Bankable businesses. That's why they are banks.
Because not all businesses
where they will get their own monies back. So small businesses should also put time. Okay, you don't have to look for very expensive consultant. Yes, we like to make the money, okay? But just sit in the minimum. I keep saying there's no shortcuts. You must own your business. Sit, write those things on paper. If you can't sell it, so we have a transaction, we're trying to do a business plan for a consultant. And the person thinks, we can't enter your brain. And if you cannot explain your business to me, I can't explain it to you.
Clarity is
okay,
key.
So entrepreneurs should go a step to even try to write something down. See if your own business is profitable enough. Then people will be attracted to funding you. And there are so many options you can explore. Again, know the stage of your business and you can attract. So I don't have a job. I want to marry a beautiful Miss Nigeria and you are deceiving yourself. So understand where you are at the stage of your business and grow along that line. If you want to start big, then you better have what is attractive to those people in place so that you are selling hope to them.
All right, so let me get back to you. How do you know what kind of funding you require for your business? Because at some point, some people will tell you, some business, I've had the opportunity to speak with some MSMEs, they're telling me that they didn't even know that they requested for more money than they actually needed, and then that would lead to spending unnecessarily. So how do you know what kind of fund you need for your business? Okay,
I'd approach this from two angles. The first is like Funke said, you must if you've set up the business and you're looking for funding, there must be clarity around the stage of development or growth that the business is. If it's a start-out situation, in which case you're just trying to build track record and trying to get things done, maybe what you need is not debt finance. Debt finance meaning maybe that means you shouldn't be looking at getting a bank loan and all of that, because you could crumble and wipe out the
They are very attractive bank.
Absolutely, but I mean perhaps debt funding at that level may really put pressure on the business because cash flows are not possibly strong enough and consistent enough yet to service whatever repayment obligations will be on the table. So perhaps what you need is possibly your personal savings, equity. Then equity funding support from friends and family and foes, by the way, FFF, and then other people's money and all of that. Then you could also then be looking at maybe at that level to venture capital funding, which will also be essentially equity funding, because those guys will, depending on the business model and the attractiveness of it and the future they see, you can get a VC to come in, for instance, and then they put in money, equity funding. Then depending on the stage of growth of the business, again, you can also get PE funding. People who would also come give you money and work with you to sweat that money and cash out at some point. Okay. So that's the first angle. So again and again, it's about reiterating the fact that you must get the relevant professional advice And when I say
consultants.
when I say
Talk to
professional
us.
advice, I mean in Fidelity Bank, for instance, a major end to our MSME interventions is our advisory propositions, where you come to us, we can spend time with you to discuss your business, to do the necessary diagnostics end to end, and help you identify the key issues you need to focus on, and also work with you to bring up solutions. Now then,
I think this is all we can actually take for now, unfortunately. But then we would always have the opportunity to continue this conversation on Plus TV Africa, sending your questions, or LeapWorld as well. We'll be moving into the next segment shortly after this break. Be with us.
Are you an entrepreneur?
Do you desire to take your business to greater heights?
Watch out for a unique and educative discourse
that will transform the lot of your business.
As LeapWorld Limited,
a business development support firm,
and Plus TV Africa celebrate
the 2019 United Nations Micro, Small and Medium Scale Entrepreneurs Day.
The program will feature business and commerce, human resource management, health for business, access to finance, loans and grants, and business regulatory issues.
Don't miss it.